everyone, welcome to week 8. So we are getting close to the end of the term, so we do have a few assignments that are coming up that you need to be aware of. So let's take a look at our week 8 to-do list. So don't forget, you do have an assignment due tonight, your topic 6 quiz. So don't forget to take that quiz. And then looking ahead, you have your Drosophila fruit fly population lab report. That's a 30-point assignment that is due a week from today. And you have your integration project that is due 2 weeks from today. So do make sure that you are working on those and completing them. So that's 60 points coming up that can help with your grade. So and these are quite a bit of points that are available. And both of these assignments, by the way, I do have YouTube videos associated with them. So look in the assignments folder for those videos. Okay, so if you go back up to the assignments, or announcements, I should say, up here in the announcements folder, there are videos that have been posted. So you can, here's the Drosophila population video. I can't find the integration study one, but it's somewhere around here as well, where you can watch these as you're kind of putting together your report and your integration project. Keep these videos handy so you know exactly what to include. And then don't forget to grade your paper against the rubric before you submit it so that you don't leave anything out, okay? One more thing before we get into things. Your midterm exams. So your midterms have closed, and so once they close Sunday midnight, they have automatically been released. So I've graded them. And so now you have a chance to go back in and look at the feedback I provided for the written responses. So you can go ahead and click on the exam that you took, and you should be able to see the multiple choice questions that you missed, as well as the written response questions. So it's a good idea to go back and look and take a look at what you missed and think about why you missed it. So, if you were thinking between two answers and you were stuck between two answers, okay, that just means that maybe you didn't study quite in detail about a topic. So that's an easy remedy to fix. But if you were the type of person that you looked at the question and you had no idea and you just kind of guessed, that's a little bit more problematic. That means that you're just simply not spending enough time on this course. So that's that means that you really need to be spending more time on retaining the information in this course. So take this to heart in any of your courses. Doesn't matter if it's this course or any other course. Anytime you're taking an exam, make sure that you are taking some time after the exam to review what you missed and think about why you're missing those questions, so that you can kind of adjust your study techniques so that you do well in the future. Don't keep doing the same thing you did before expecting different results. That doesn't make sense. So please take advantage of looking at the midterms. They are available. I want you to improve, so I have that open for you to use. The final exam is cumulative, so please review your midterms so that you can improve upon for your final exam. And no, none of these questions will be on the final exam, but I want you to still learn from your mistakes so that the concepts that were introduced in the midterms you can improve upon for the final exam. Okay? All right. We have, let's see, so you have your reading assignment. I believe there are 11 points up for grabs, so 11 questions associated with our reading assignment. And then we have six, it looks like 6 assignments due this week for our population growth and survivorship topic. So let's go back and take a look. We have integration project assignment, so you should be working on that. This is due June 3rd. This is a hard deadline, by the way, so no projects will be accepted after June 3rd because once you post your presentation, other students will be reviewing it. So if you don't have a presentation posted, then students can't review it. So that's why it's a hard deadline. So make sure you're working on that. Here are the student roles for this week, and then we go into our first assignment. So our first assignment, we're going to be looking at growth curves. So you're going to be watching a video, and when you watch the video, you're going to be answering the questions on the first 2 pages. So you'll learn about what biotic potential is and what are the factors affecting it. Okay. Next, you're going to graph. So this week we get to graph a lot. So get your pencils ready. So this first graph, you're going to be graphing a gypsy moth population. In this case, it's without any limits. So the population is growing without any limits. So on the x-axis, you'll put the generation, and then on the y-axis will be the population size. Notice the population size. So it goes from 2 to over 4 million. So good luck with those intervals. So I suggest maybe by millions, so maybe 1 million, 2 million, 3 million, 4 million. And then you have on your x-axis the generations. And you'll notice it basically will start up slow and then go up fast. And for some reason you get 2 pieces of graph paper, but you only need 1. Then you'll answer the questions based on the graph. The next graph that you'll be doing, this time the population does have limiting factors to it. So you'll see that the gypsy moths have a carrying capacity. So those are there's things that are limiting the population from growing to over 4 million. So you have more generations this time on the x-axis, and notice the population does not go to 4 million. So it starts off pretty, slow, and then it gets up to 300,000, and then it goes to 600,000, and then it just kind of oscillates between those 2 numbers. So you'll do the same thing where you have your y-axis as the population size, the x-axis will have your generation, and then again it'll kind of start growing, and then it'll just kind of oscillate between 300 and 600,000. Then you'll answer the questions. Okay, so that's your first assignment. Once you're done, post your 2 graphs and answer, your associated questions, and then comment on your fellow students' postings. Okay. The next assignment, you're going to be using a virtual dice rolling game thing. So basically what you're going to do is you're going to read this information, and then you're going to follow the online directions. So you're going to visit this site where did my website go? Where you have these virtual dice. You're going to start where it says dice to roll with 50 D6. So it basically means you're starting with 50 dice and you want a 6-sided dice. Okay, so 50 D6. And then you'll just click roll. Okay, and you'll get 50 dice. And basically what you're going to do is you're going to assume that any of the dice that have a 1 facing upward die of heart disease. So all of the other numbers that they survive. So anybody that has a 1, they die. Everybody else survives. So in your table on the next page, so you're going to fill it out like this. You'll have the first roll will be 1. You'll count however many survived. So anybody that is a 2, 3, 4, 5, or 6, and then you'll calculate the percent surviving. Okay, so if I go back to my die, I'm going to exclude all the ones. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11. So 11 of them died out of my population. Okay, so now I go back into my graph, or my chart, I should say. And for my first roll, I had 11 die, so that means I had 39 survive. So 39 divided by 50 equals 39 divided by 50 equals 78%. So that's 78%. Okay. So now I'm going to go back to the die, and instead of starting with 50, I'm going to start with my current survivors. So now I have 39 survivors. And I'm going to roll again. Same thing. Ugh, I don't like those. I'm going to roll it again. Sometimes you get these weird die that don't make sense. Okay, this one's a little bit easier to read, so I'm going to count the ones. And again, the ones died of heart disease. So 1, 2, well, I got 2. Only 2 of them died of heart disease. Okay, so I go back to my chart. So this is the second roll. So now that means 37 survived. So 37 divided by 50 equals, gotta figure it out, 57, 7, so I'll do 58, okay, round it up, 58%. So I keep rolling until I get down to 0. So it'll keep going until I get down to 0, until the entire population dies off. So that's population 1, okay? So once I get to 0, then I'm done. Next, I'll do population 2. So in population 2, I do the same thing again. I start with 50, okay, as my die. But this time, I count the 1s and the 2s as the ones that die, okay? So in my directions, it says the 1s die of heart disease, the 2s die of cancer, okay? So you can imagine that it's going to die, the population is going to die off quicker, because 1s and 2s all, they both die. So I'll have a, smaller population, okay? And then population 3, you're going to kind of choose your own model to go off of, okay? So, but before you do population 3, you're going to graph population 1 and 2. So when you graph population 1 and 2, you're going to be graphing the age group and the percent survivors, I believe. So you're going to be creating a survivorship curve. All right, so on the next page, you'll have population 1, so you'll have on the x-axis the age group, so 0 to however much, and then the y will be the percentage. Okay, so you'll start out with like 100%, and then it'll kind of go down from there. Okay, and you can kind of see what your lines look like. And when you graph your 2 graphs, you want to think about what type of survivorship curves they look like. Okay, oops. So let me bring up, this is from your Edigia textbook. So these are the 3 types of survivorship curves over time. So a type 1 means that, that we have the individuals, they live quite a long time and then they die off. So they survive, through childhood into adulthood, and then they die of old age. So for their population, they lived pretty well and then they die. So that's a type 1. A type 2 means that, some of them survive childhood, some of them don't. Some of them survive adulthood, some of them don't. Some of them survive old age, some of them don't. So it's kind of a gradual population decline and throughout their ages. And then type 3 is where you have a lot of babies born, but most of them don't survive. But the ones that survive, they live a long time. So think of like trees, they send out a lot of seeds. Most of those seeds, they don't survive. And the ones that do are able to live a long time. Okay? So you're going to kind of figure out what population 1, what most resembles the survivorship curve, and then population 2, what's the most resemblance to the survivorship curve. And then for population 3, you're going to try to think of a model that resembles this one. So try to get it to be a type 2 curve if possible. Okay? So that's what you're going to aim for population 3. So you have a few attempts, okay? All right. So that is our survivorship curve assignment. So you're going to post your scans or photos of your 2 sets of graphs. So you're going to be graphing population 1 and 2 on the graph paper, and then your population 3 up to 3 tries on your graph paper, okay? So it looks like graph your population, post your assigned roles. So your 2 sets of graphs. So that means that you're going to graph population 1 and 2 on one graph paper, and then population 3 up to 3 tries on the second graph paper. So you'll have 2 pieces of graph paper that you'll submit, population 1 and 2 on one of them, and 3 on the other. And it's just the survivorship curves, okay? It's just, oops, why do I keep doing that? It's just these things, okay? So it'll be on the x-axis will be the age group, on the y-axis will be the percent surviving, okay? So that'll be submitted. In addition to your graphs, you're going to be submitting the answers to these 2 questions, okay? And then you're going to be addressing another student's post. Okay, so it gets a little confusing. So you're going to be submitting a couple, at least 3 different graphs, and then the answers to these 2 questions. Okay. All right, moving on to our 3rd assignment, survivorship curves using cemetery data. Okay, so if you didn't get enough graphing in the last 2 activities, we got more for you. So this time we're going to be looking at cemetery data, and you're going to be assigned a cohort. So you're going to be looking at a year, and you're going to be looking at data, males and females. Okay, so let's take a look. So we have, here are the cohorts. Okay, so let's see, you have, let's say, if you're assigned 1880 to 1889 or 1900 to 1909. So you have, this data here. Okay, so this is the age interval. So this will go on the x-axis. And then you have the survival rate, so that'll go on the y-axis. And then notice you have 2 sets of data. You have the male survivorship rate and the female survivorship rate. So you're going to graph both, okay? So prior to graphing, let's see, decide as a class the scale of increments used. So you can kind of come up with what you think. So I can see right here that it's basically the age interval is 10 years apart. So that's pretty easy when you're doing this on a graph paper. If I was to graph this, I can kind of, do something like this. And then like I have, 0 to 10, like that, 10 years apart, whatever, okay? And then survivorship, 100%, 50%, kind of everybody in between. So the survivorship is on the y-axis, the age cohorts are on the x-axis, okay? So I would just do like 0 to 9, so I would just, do 9 years old, 19 years old. You don't have to do the 0 to 9 or anything like that, okay? Then you're going to simply graph the males and the females. So males were 100% and then 82%. So you can kind of go, for the males, 100%, 82%, whatever it was. And then you'll connect the dots and you'll do a different color and then do the females. So you'll see, what type of curve was it? Is it going to be a type 1 curve? Is it a type 2 curve? Is it a type 3 curve? Okay, and then you'll write what type of curve it was it. All right, so you'll do that for your cohort. So you were assigned 2 cohorts to do, so you'll have 2 graphs. And then you'll post that so that you can see what other people did, so that you don't have to graph all of these yourself, and so that you can use other people's graphs to figure out what the curves are for other cohorts. Okay, so scan and post your survivorship curves for your cohorts. So you were assigned 2 years or 2 decades. Okay, and then you're going to answer the questions that are related to that. Okay, so post your graphs and then answer the questions. Okay, so that's pretty simple. Lots of graphing. And then go ahead and comment on the student that you are assigned. All right. All right. So moving on to global events affecting population lab. So now that we have our graphs of the different cohorts that are put into the forums, and we have everybody's cohorts, we're going to investigate the 2 10-year cohorts. So student 1 is going to investigate their cohorts, and they're going to kind of look up information about what happened during that time frame. Okay, so you're going to basically look at events that took place. Okay, so look for major events during that time period. So think about what happened in history. So were there wars going on? Were there any medical breakthroughs? Any sanitation advances? Any technological innovations? Okay, so think about, you'll have to do some outside research. Think about what happened during these time periods. So if you were assigned 1880, so look through this decade. If you're assigned 1900, think about what happened during this decade and see, what major events took place during those decades that you're of your assigned cohort. And then you're going to make a PowerPoint presentation to present your findings. Okay, so you're going to include that graph that you made from your previous assignment from the T7S3 assignment. Okay, so let me go back to that. So you're going to look at that, follow the directions for 2 and 3, post your PowerPoint. Okay, so you'll have your little, basically your PowerPoint slide with your graph and your description of the events that took place during that time period. Okay, and then you'll answer the questions that are associated with that information. Okay, so I think everybody's assigned the same questions, right? 4 and 5, yep. All right, so this way you can kind of see why perhaps there was a shift in the survivorship types. So, why did we go from like a type 2 survivorship curve in I don't know, 1940 to type 3 or type 1 survivorship curve in 1960. I don't know what it was, but you can see what advancements took place during these periods of time to allow that to happen. Okay, so we're associating history with what explanation to the change in our survivorship curves. Okay, so you'll post that. And then the last one is we're going to take a closer look at different countries. So each student will choose a different country for your country report. So you need to choose a different country. So that means that before you start your work, make sure you look and see if somebody has posted a country already, and don't post the same country. Okay, so you actually have to look before. So if somebody puts Canada, then we can't have two Canadas, okay? So if I see two Canadas, I'm going to grade the first Canada with the first date posted, and then the other person gets a 0, okay? So make sure you don't post Canada twice. All right, so you're going to go to the class activity number 2. Okay, so this is where we have the information. So you have country information from the CIA that has, oops, has changed. Why do we have these things? Here's, this one works for, like, you have the GNI, so their economic value. And then you also have, if we go back to here's the CIA's report, so you can look up different countries. So they have all of the countries alphabetized, so you can look up, I don't know why I keep saying Canada, but here's Canada. So you can look up information about Canada. They have all sorts of information, so economy, energy, whatever you need to get the information that you need. So let me see what you need. So you're going to fill the first row. Okay, so you're going to write the name of your country, and then you're going to find the population, the GNI, so that was that previous page I showed you. Main economic practices, so where do they get their money from? Education, main religion, and availability of family planning. Okay, so you got that part a lot. All right. So go back. So each student choose a different country for your country report. So you're going to choose yours, and you're going to create a PowerPoint. So you're basically going to fill in each one of those parts of your table, okay, in your presentation. So you'll need to include, again, the name, the population trend, the GNI, where they get their money from, like how do they, main economic sources, education, main religion, and availability of family planning. Okay. Let's see, post your presentation in the forum. So let's see, what else do you need? All right, I guess that's what you're going to do. And then basically you're going to return, and you're going to fill out the rest of the table with other students' countries. So that's why we don't want to have multiple people doing the same country. Okay, so once you have gone back and filled out the tables, then once you kind of do that, you're going to go into after the tables have been filled out, go in here, and you're going to kind of place the name of each country from the class reports in this timeline for phases of history. So which of these maybe is the least developed, to which ones might be the most developed of that list. Okay, and then answer the question below. All right. So this, you might have to wait till like Sunday to answer, or, if you are busy Sunday, just go with however many that you've filled out by Saturday. All right. Describe any trends that you see. Include at least 3 countries listed in your timeline. Okay. So go ahead and do this. If you only have 3 countries listed, that's okay. So I know some people wait to the last minute to post things, so I'm not going to penalize the people that do things early. I do want to reiterate for those people that wait till last minute, if I see you posting a country that has already been posted, I will give you a 0. Okay? So if you are one of those people that wait till Sunday midnight to post, and you post a country that has already been chosen, I will give credit to the person that already posted your country, and I'll give you a 0 for your posting if you chose the same country. Okay, so no repeats for countries. Okay. And then finally, you have your final recording of your carbon dioxide on primary producers long-term lab report. So this is the harvest time. So this is the final collection. So the first thing you're going to do is, you're going to basically, we're going to, let me take a look. So this is our last week. Okay, so do the last final measurements of the height of your grass. You will cut the grass. So follow steps 12 through 16. So you'll cut the grass off at the soil level. And then you're going to put the soil in a bag for drying, or the shoots in a bag for drying to get the biomass. So you're actually going to weigh those shoots to see how much they weigh. You'll remove the soil from the pot, flatten it, and then you're going to let it dry for 24 hours. And then you're going to spread the roots out. So we actually want to measure the length of the roots. So you're going to choose 10 roots randomly, kind of like you've been choosing 10 shoots randomly, and record the length of the roots. Okay, so on our page 308, you're going to record the root growth of those 10 roots to get the average. And then you're going to go ahead and record the shoot biomass produced. So you're going to weigh the shoots. Okay, and then once you get all of that, you're going to record all of that, and you're going to post your average shoot growth like you do every week, as well as your root growth, as well as the shoot biomass produced. You'll have 3 measurements that you're going to post. So the roots, the shoots, those will both be in millimeters, and then the biomass, which will be in grams. So 3 measurements that you're posting this week, and that will be the end of our collection. So you can just throw out everything after that. And as far as the working of this carbon dioxide lab, we're actually not going to be doing a lab report. We're going to be doing a lab quiz, which is very similar to a lab report. It's just easier than writing a lab report. So more information about that next week. Okay. Don't forget to write your Drosophila population report. So information about that was covered with that YouTube video. There's also information about that here with the concepts to include, and then don't forget to post the lab report here. All right. If you have any questions, feel free to email me. Otherwise, good luck, everyone.